It began as a fairly good year for Paradox. Imperator Rome finally received its long-awaited 2.0 update, which made the game one of their best, which I mentioned in my recent review of the game, and which honestly put Imperator in the great state it should have been in at the beginning. EU4 was getting a massive update with the Leviathan expansion, which according to lead designer Johan was supposed to be one of their best and biggest ever.
Maybe the biggest expansion we've done.
And then late April came around. Leviathan released on April 27th. And oh my god. Spiffing Brit released a video showing how unbalanced the game was prior to release, as he usually does. So that's only for the fun, right? Wrong! It would seem Leviathan was not only unbalanced, but absolutely broken. Players have been reporting massive bugs and endless crashes either early or late in the game. The new development system allows indigenous tribes to create essentially mega futuristic cities in the mid 1500s with literal god emperors, and some content which Leviathan unlocks literally demands that you own a previous DLC without making that explicitly clear. Leviathan had an absolute mess of a launch, and I say that from the most loving place I can. Now there will always be fans that are, let's just say, clearly not smarter than a 5th grader, who will resort to harassment and whatnot. That's never okay, and that shouldn't even have to be stated. Keeping that in mind, it felt a bit weird getting this post from a Hearts of Iron developer about the toxic community of Paradox. Now it's nothing new that Paradox has some insanely toxic fans. Their games are fairly niche and deal with some unsavory topics, including literal fascism, so I personally am not surprised that they attract some unwanted attention. But to my mind, why not just ban them? Maybe they already do, but I think it's fairly okay to have a zero-tolerance policy on harassment of devs on their own forums, as long as the decision to ban is based in actual toxic behavior going against the forum's guidelines. In addition, it just feels a bit strange, sadly, that this sort of response from Paradox comes in the midst of one of their greatest scandals perhaps ever since the launch of Imperator Rome. Taking accountability for a broken product is important, which I'm glad another Paradox dev did in another post on the EU4 forums. It is great that Paradox has created a space where fans and players may communicate with the developers, so kudos to them for that. But I think there needs to be accountability both ways. Releasing a broken product needs to be met with humility from Paradox. After all, people are paying for expansion after expansion, and there's not a single one which does not release with a host of bugs, but obviously some more than others. In return, the Paradox community, at least the part which is toxic, needs to get its act together or just get banned from the forums, honestly. No one deserves harassment, especially when constructive criticism is a valid option. Just look at the absolute state of the game on Steam. It's now on 7% positive ratings and several times had tags like psychological horror and memes attached to it. So all in all, it was a really bad week. Wait, there's more? Oh no, please! Ugh, yeah. Shortly after the blessed 2-year anniversary of Imperator Rome, Paradox announced the indefinite closure of the game. They stated that developers would move to other games where they were needed the most, such as EU4 and Hearts of Iron 4, which are two of Paradox's most popular and best-selling games, so it seems a bit strange that they need more help there. And apparently, development on Imperator will not start again until at least 2022, but even that seems kind of unlikely due to, well, the game being dealt this massive blow. It was not the company's most popular title by a long shot to begin with, but at least now I felt like it had a shot to grow and expand after the 2.0 update. Now though, I suppose we can only hope. Based on various posts and interactions, it seems the Imperator team truly loved their game and was passionate about it, especially after having received such good feedback from players on the new update. It's clear the team was eager to continue their work on Imperator, but that someone higher up made the final relocation decision. In my opinion, this is tragic because Imperator is not only a fairly new Paradox project, but really felt like its perhaps most promising game. The 2.0 update fixed almost every problem I personally had with the game, but more importantly, made me more interested in playing and got me excited for the game's future. I'll try not to be too hyperbolic here though, I will continue playing the game, but the fact that I have no fairly immediate expansions or updates to look forward to it kinda takes some of the fun away, you know? Especially when Imperator finally filled its own shoes and was so ready to keep on expanding. And the feedback from the community echoes this, with the 2.0 update receiving almost unison positive criticism, while people feeling left behind because of this new decision. So yeah, Paradox had a really bad week, and are most likely still experiencing one. Much of the criticism is warranted, the toxicity is obviously not. But I believe the higher-ups at Paradox need to sit down and take a look at what they're doing, especially when they clearly cannot release a major expansion properly by giving its developers the time they need, or be more future-minded and stick with a project people are passionate about. I will give them this though. It's amazing that the team behind Imperator was able to work on the game for 2 whole years after it received such criticism for not being what people had expected, while still releasing major updates without ever having to pay for anything but minor content updates. Thank you so much for watching, friends. If you enjoyed the video, then please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you next time. Cheers!